We are live. We are live. Welcome to College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do us well, please subscribe to our channel. Smash the like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and your friends if you want to support this college football rebel outpost. If you want to support the true home for the college football sickos with a donation, help us keep the lights on, hit that dollar sign where you make your comments, and I'll get you a super chat as quick as I possibly can. Welcome everybody into the studio that sits on the corner, the very corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to become a legend with your comments and with your phone calls. It is June 23rd on a Monday. We haven't been together as a PATC family since Friday. We took the weekend off here at Peek Around the Corner. Took the weekend off, but I think it's going to be a very busy week as we finish off the month of June, and then we're going to go into the month of July, the last full month without college football. So we are right around the corner here at Peek Around the Corner for the 2025 college football season, and I cannot wait. Now, as I'm sitting here, I am sitting here waiting for some big news to break for my beloved Golden Gophers. None of you, the rest of you don't care. None of you do not care a lick. But there is one news that I am sitting on pins and needles. And when that news breaks, I'm going to interrupt what I'm talking about. I'm going to interrupt what you guys are talking about. I'm going to interrupt everybody. And I'm going to make the announcement. Roman Voss, V as in Victor, O-S-S, Roman Voss. He is going to make his decision known. It's down to 2 teams. An athlete coming out of, once again, rural Minnesota, just like Coy Pirich. Coy Pirich, the All-American safety. He was a freshman All-American safety last year. He's going to be an All-American this year. He's playing on both sides of the ball this year. He is this year's Travis Hunter. When Coy Pirich made his decision, finally, to go to Minnesota, it was between the Buckeyes and the Golden Gophers. Today, for Roman Voss, it's between my beloved Golden Gophers and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Roman Voss has been playing it real close to the chest. Now, he's considered, I don't know, the 12th rated athlete in the country, 4-star. But he's going to, if he comes to Minnesota, he's going to be playing tight end. Probably with Alabama as well. But he's just too big of an athlete to play. He's got to play tight end. He can play both offense or defense, but I think he's going to end up playing tight end. So that is the news that I'm waiting to break. Now, there was some breaking news today. The Pac-12. They've got CBS. I'm going to call this an extension. I'm not going to call it a new media partner. An extension of the contract they already have with them. Pac-12 has got it nailed down. CBS, one of their media partners. There's probably a couple more to be announced. And I know a lot of people are hanging on. How much are the Pac-12 teams going to make per year? I don't know. Don't really care. I mean, I care, but it's not really. Could it be $8 million as a team? Could be 9. Could be 10. Probably a little bit more than 7, 8, 9, 10. Somewhere around there. We're not going to know. We're not going to know. We're not going to know until we know all the partners. We're not going to know until are the Pac-12 teams going to have to give a little bit money back on production costs, for example? We're not going to really know. And we're not even going to know when it's fully done. It's going to be in the range of, here at Peek Around the Corner, it's going to be in the range of $8 to $10 million per school. Pac-12. So we're going to cover that. So we're going to go through that. We're also going to go through Castellanos. The new quarterback, Thomas Castellanos. Boston College to Florida State. There was an article written today. Man, and look, you want your quarterback to have confidence. And you want your quarterback to be kind of vocal in his confidence. Right? MBM says he wants to smoke. And in some ways that's encouraging. He's coming out there saying, look, we're going to Florida State, man. I am where I belong. We're going to do great things. I do have to say, I in the article on 3, we're going to go through some of that. We're not going to go through all of it. But he threw some shots at his former football program, Boston College. Some of that, I don't think he didn't have to say that. He didn't have to keep putting them down. Anyways, but again, it sounds like him and Bill O'Brien, they butted heads a few times. But he said a few things at the end of the interview. Bulletin board material for Alabama. I don't know if you want to do that. He's already put a lot of weight on his shoulders. My goodness. So we're going to go through that as well. We're going to start off the show. South Carolina Gamecocks Spotlight Team PATC for June 23rd. June 23rd, 2025. Every day we're going to highlight a new team. We're going to talk about it. We're going to break it down. First of all, let's do the roll call. Edward, the Auburn Tiger. And we're going to be talking about your SEC, Southeastern Conference foe, the South Carolina Gamecocks. They're knocking on the door. They're going to be knocking on the door. They're going to be knocking on the door to get in the playoffs. Can Auburn get in there? Can Auburn get in the mix? Don Scruggs, Georgia Bulldogs. AMAC is in the house. Steel Austin is here. The Big Lubbock, Humble Bumble Duck, Preston from Greensboro, North Carolina, Randy Taylor, MBM, Ryan Brooks, baseball, national champions, the LSU Tigers. Morris Simmons is in the house. CFB Plus, good afternoon. Good afternoon to you, sir. BYU Cougars. Kenneth Stromness. Minnesota not feeling bad now that the Thunder are... We weren't feeling bad anyways. We were not... I felt worse last year when we got taken out by the Mavericks. This year, in the Western Conference Finals. This year, Minnesota... At that, and they did take a half a step backwards. Not quite as good as they were they were not supposed to go to the Western Conference Finals this year. Now they're going to have to make a trade. They've got to get another ball handler. Anthony Edwards, there's too much pressure on him. Everybody blitzes him. He's got no other guy that can he needs another scorer who can handle the basketball. We'll see what happens. The Big Lubbock is in. Bimba 75-79. Big Ten will win 30 natty in a row. Holy smokes. Jeff Olson, the Evil Badger, PATC, is slinging smoke. My goodness. Secret Agent is in the house. Foodie Memphis is here. Ryan Willie, the Evil Badger. Bob Swanger. We are Penn State. I got the keys. Keith Moore. Go Heels. Jordan Brand. Christopher Marcato. He's in the house. Hope everyone is having a blessed day so far. Same to you, Mercado. Same to you, sir. Stormy Cyclone, Farmageddon. That's going to be good. John Till, Pac-12 info. Finally, you are correct, John Till. Finally, something is happening. Deadeye is in the house. Daniel Gygax, Mr. Mountaineer, Opie, I do apologize. On the last live show, right when I was going off, you submitted a super chat. I do apologize. I did not get to it. When I turned off the computer, when I left the studio, the little general, the one who rules with an iron fist, said, Greg, You missed Opie. You missed Opie's super chat. And so I do apologize, Opie D. Don. Just let you know, Opie, the little general, she hounded me on that. So I apologize, Opie. Thank you so much for your generosity. Thank you so much, sir. Are you waiting for the Oklahoma City Thunder moving to Minnesota? No, I'm not waiting for no Oklahoma City. This studio sits in the middle of Loserville City, and I am your mayor. Oklahoma City Thunder are the NBA World Champions. Why would they want to move to Minnesota? Why would they want to get anywhere close to the studio? But, Opie, things are going to change this year. This is Greg the Gold. This is Greg the Gold, not getting anything wrong. This is Greg the Gold, 2025. Nothing but winners. Nothing but winners coming out of this majestic studio. Minnesota is going to win at something. I promise you. And I'm going to have a winning percentage, the fat guy for Minnesota, a winning percentage of 60% or higher against the spread. Book it. Book it. Nothing but winners. Okay, got that out of my system. Got it out of my system. Heartbreak 25 is in the house. Holy smokes. Xavier Wolf. College football is pain. Sean is here. Nick Kelso is here. Justin Lucas, NCAA, says the autonomous 4, 65% voting power is being voted on in August, according to the release today. Thank you, Justin Lucas, for the update. Yep. And again, they're going to push it off a little bit longer, but eventually it's going to get done. Thank you, Justin Lucas, for the update. MGC Sooner is in the house. Charlie Atwood is here. Mr. Hoosier, Ricky Tungate, kicks it off. He kicks it off. Can't wait for the season to begin. Tired of nobody getting along. Let's go. Let's go, Indiana. We don't play you guys again this year. We don't play Indiana. We don't play Illinois. We don't play Michigan. We don't play Penn State. Daniel Gorby is in the house. Shakar is in the house. The Eva Badger, Ryan Willie, congratulations to the Thunder. Sam 8911 SX. Florida State is making moves in high school recruiting. Go Black 45. Go Tigers. 8 feels great. 8 college football World Series champions. Greg the Iceberg. My goodness. My goodness. Not in 2025. Jashin Hole is in the house. Tim Bells is here. John Groves is in the house. Separate bars. John Grove. Rumors going around that Kansas State, Iowa State will have separate bars. Again, I'm going to be very careful what I say about this. And I talked about it at the time. I talked about it at the time. We had just opened up this YouTube channel. That Nebraska-Northwestern game in Dublin, Ireland. We talked about it in real time, August of 3 years ago. The line started at, I don't know I can't remember, but Nebraska was a big favorite. But then the stories were coming out of what was going on in the bars at Dublin, Ireland, in what coaching staff allegedly was spending way too much at the bars. One of the coaching staffs was spending a lot of time at the bars, and it looked like, well, I'm going to leave it at that. And the other, anyways, the line dropped precipitatively. The line dropped big time. Nebraska was still the favorite at kickoff, but that line dropped a few points. The rumors were flying, and then it happened. Northwestern beat Nebraska straight up. So I'll let you guys fill in the gaps. Ryan Willie, can't stay, I'll watch later. Thank you so much for the super chat, Ryan Willie, and all your support. Thank you so very much. Hope Dublin imports enough Busch Light, Bobby Hansen. I keep hearing, yeah, Busch Light, I guess. I keep hearing rumors of LSU playing outside of the U.S. in the next few years. Go Black 40. Yes, it was Scott Frost. It was his last year. And that was the first game of the season of his last year. And hopefully he's got it all. Hopefully he's got his head on. Hopefully he's a different coach at UCF. Going back to the University of Central Florida. Hopefully he's in a different part of his life. Allegedly, that's all I'm going to say about it. Hooligans pressed in from Greensboro, North Carolina. Okay, let's get to it. I appreciate everybody coming on in. It is my pleasure. I'm very humbled that you would all join us at the beginning of the live show. PATC. Let's just do it right away. Let's get on with it. Before we get to the Pac-12 news, before we get to Thomas Castellanos, South Carolina PATC spotlight, you know him, Lenore Sellers, the quarterback. He had moments last year, ladies and gentlemen. He had brilliant moments last year. Absolutely brilliant moments last year. South Carolina goes 9-3. Now they lost to Illinois in the bowl game. But they lost that tough game to LSU 33-36. They lost to Ole Miss. They lost to Alabama. But then they beat Oklahoma. They beat Texas. They beat Vandy. They beat Missouri. They beat Clemson at Clemson, their rival, on the road. Lenore Sellers, this year, his ceiling is so high. If he meets his ceiling, South Carolina can get into the playoffs. Now, South Carolina did lose about 5 guys. I think it was 5 defensemen. 5 defensive players in the NFL draft last year. No question about it. South Carolina Gamecocks, everybody says it. Everybody admits to it. Even the South Carolina most ferocious fans say South Carolina defense is going to be taking a couple steps back this year. No question about it. But, they still got Dylan Stewart, number 6. You see him flying around. He is going to make some impactful plays. They still got their cornerback, Judge Collier Jr. On offense, of course, it starts with Lenore Sellers. It starts with him. They've got a Utah. Now, I do not know. Maybe Don Scruggs, maybe Go Black 45, maybe somebody in the Southeastern Conference can tell me. Rashul Fajan, the transfer running back from Utah State, have they made a ruling? Is he eligible? Do we know if he's eligible yet? I have not heard. And I probably should have done more work on this. At this point, I don't know if he's eligible. Jared Brown and Mr. Bennett, Mazio Bennett, the two wide receivers, hopefully they can both be healthy in 2025 for the Gamecocks. Both of them all nicked up last year. You know, they're losing Raheem Rocket Sanders. They need to replace him with somebody. They're hoping the Utah State transfer can come on in. But I don't think he has been ruled eligible yet. I'm going to have to go back and look. Nick Harbor, the wide receiver, the speedster. Number 8 on your television screen. I believe he's a junior. He's got to get it going now. He's got to get it going. This is it. Been a little bit of a disappointment. It's got all the talent in the world. Harbor Jr. Now, this year, South Carolina starts against Virginia Tech. That is a Sunday night game. Okay? Virginia Tech. Going to be a big national. I'll probably do a watch party on it. Drones versus Lenore Sellers. Right? But they're going to be playing Vanderbilt September 13th. September 13th. That is a night game. And you remember what Diago Pavia said for Vanderbilt, quarterback. He believes Vanderbilt's going to be right in the race. He believes that Vanderbilt could go to the playoffs. Diego Pavia versus Lenore Sellers. I believe that's a night game on September 13th. So we're going to find out. Virginia Tech, Vanderbilt, 2 of the first 3 weeks of the season for the South Carolina Gamecocks. They got on a roll last year. They finished so strong last year. Can they start out how they finished? Mr. Shane Beamer got that program rolling a bit, and it's all on the shoulders of Lenore Sellers. Expedition Greg, thank you so much. Go Buckeyes. 1 more week until my 47th trip around the sun. Thank you for the incredible friendship, Greg. Thank you, Expedition Greg, so very much. Thank you for being a member of our program. 19 months. My goodness. Cloak and Dagger. You are officially knighted, Cloak and Dagger. Thank you, Expedition Greg. Appreciate it. Didn't the House settlement passed? That's already passed. Opie. That passed already. Right? That already passed. Jay Chapman, I really hope Nebraska gets matched up with UCF in some bowl. Don Scruggs says Lenore Sellers is the real deal. Now that defense is not going to be as... South Carolina's defense is not going to be what it was last year. South Carolina's offense should be a little bit better. Right? It should be a little bit better. They're going to be knocking on... I think they come up short again. I do not have them as a playoff team. I think they just come up short again. Now, They got Clemson at home this year on November 29th. Last year they went on the road and beat Clemson. This year they got them at home. I think Clemson's going to be a lot better than they were last year. So we shall see. I'm all pumped up. I'm all pumped up to do the Virginia Tech South Carolina game. Let's go! We're going to be doing a watch party on that game, most likely. Most likely. Okay. Talking about quarterbacks. Talking about how Lenore Sellers going against Drones, the Virginia Tech quarterback. Talking about Diego Pavia going up against Lenore Sellers. Diego Pavia he showed some real confidence last week in an interview. Well, look at this. Thomas Castellanos on 3, Pete Knuckles. Opportunity at Florida State. Remember, he's the transfer quarterback that Mike Norvell brought in. Thomas Castellanos. I'm trying to save jobs and win. Holy smokes. We do not go through the whole article here. Thomas Castellanos did not want to be the quarterback playing for 3 teams in 3 seasons when Boston College head coach Jeff Hafley accepted the Green Bay Packers job. So Thomas did not want to leave last year, and he didn't. He tried playing for Bill O'Brien. But Castellanos wishes he hadn't spent 2024 at Boston College. I really wish I would have left when Hafley left. But I try to give it another take, he told On 3. Boston College wasn't the school for me. I'm telling you, this guy, he in my opinion, he throws way too many barbs at Boston College here in this article, in this interview. I wasn't able to be by myself. I had to try to make myself be something I wasn't. That's fair. I just didn't like it. Bill O'Brien and I butted heads early in the season. I got banged up a few games. We had a meeting and it kind of blew up in my face. I did so much for that program. I don't know, man. Yeah, you did, but I did so much for that program. I did everything that I could. I just wasn't repaid the right way. Castellanos wanted to get back to playing his style of football. I do not blame him for that. When he left Boston College in mid-November and made plans to enter the portal, he knew he wanted to go somewhere he felt comfortable and could make an impact. He admitted to On 3 that he felt very limited at times in the Boston College offense last year. When Mike Norvell first contacted Castellanos and told him Florida State was interested, he immediately knew it was the right fit. A former UCF transfer, Castellanos is from Roy Cross, Georgia, about 3 hours northeast of Tallahassee. First off, Florida State's been the school I've always wanted to go to, he said. It's my dream school. I just feel like it's right. I remember the last time I went 2-10 and I had a successful season. I wanted that challenge to come over here and turn this thing around and get back to where it needed to be. Oh, that sounds great. That's what you want your quarterback to say. And plus, I feel like I had a pretty good season or 2 there at Boston College. I feel like if I did what I did over there, over here in Florida State, then I'll be way bigger. It will mean a lot more at Florida State. I didn't have nearly as much talent as I do here. Again, don't feel like he really needs to go there. He goes there a few more times. I don't even cover the whole article, the whole interview on this. I didn't have nearly as much talent as I do here. Castellanos reflected on the talent gap between Boston College and Florida State. I didn't have the guys. Again, a quarterback should not be talking about guys that he just played with, saying I didn't have the guys. I love the guy's confidence. But there is something there that I do not like. And he keeps going over it. You don't have to bury the guys that just played for you, that just blocked for you. That's all I'm saying. I didn't have the guys, but over here I have some of the best athletic guys. I'm not the fastest one on the team over here. I'm not the most athletic guy on the team. So just being around these guys and just instilling in their heads the winning mentality and what we can do. They got the team. They got the guys. All they needed was a leader in place to lead them. We need to get back to that mentality of the ACC championship, to a good playoff run, to a national championship. But for me, I know I have the skill to set up to be a Heisman contender, to be in New York. Castellanos scored 3 touchdowns in week 1, a win over Florida State last year, as Boston College opened the season 3-1. Thomas Castellanos starts his Florida State career with Alabama, coming to Tallahassee on August 30th. The game gives the Seminoles the chance to set a tone for 2025. Thomas Castellanos fully believes the Seminoles can put the nation on notice with a week 1 win over Alabama. I'm excited, man, he said. People, I don't know if they know, but if you go back and watch every first game that I played in, we always start fast. I dream of moments like this. I dream of playing against Alabama. They don't have Nick Saban to save them. I just don't see them stopping me. You should be saying, I don't think they should be stopping us, our team. Woo! Yikes. And then the ACC. I feel like I tore the ACC up my damn self for the last 2 years. Again, and now I'm with the squad. I hope people don't think that Florida State is going to be the same team it was last year, because we have weapons. People can't just sit back in zone coverage and watch me. Woo, woo, woo. Now, you want your quarterback to be confident. You want your quarterback to have a little swag in him. You want him to be confident. But my goodness, I like Thomas Castellanos. I think we did the watch party at Boston College, Florida State. I know we did Florida State, Georgia Tech. Maybe we didn't, but he's always been a pretty good quarterback. I happen to thought that Florida State could have they could have went up another level in their transfer portal. But I get it. Thomas Castellanos is a type of guy in which you do not need to have your offensive line being tremendous, because he's going to make plays. He's going to make plays in which the play breaks down. But let's not get it twisted. He's a good quarterback, but I don't consider him elite. Now he's playing, no question about it. He's playing with a higher caliber of talent, but he did not have to remind people of that 3 or 4 times in the article. Again, I did not go through the whole article. I did not go through the whole interview. He tore up the ACC by him damn self. That's what he said. That's not good. You can't say you can't. Well, it has made. Let me put it. It has made the Alabama-Florida State game that much more interesting. He says they don't have Nick Saban to save them anymore. He put up a whole bunch of bulletin board material up there for Alabama, and he did not need to. I like the guy who has confidence, especially at that position. But man, oh man, I'm very interested to hear what you guys got to say. Love it. Sounds like the 90s Knowles. I like this kid. Let's see if he can deliver. As a Florida State fan, he could have toned it down a bit. Don Scruggs, Swag will get that ass broke. Castellanos fits Malzone's offense. Maurice Simmons, that's our QB. The architect, show some respect. The kid wants all the smoke. This guy and Vanderbilt quarterback brothers, same smack. Wow. Someone is a little full of themselves. Go Black 45, this guy won't last the season. Richard L., oof. John Boxleitner, I'm out on players talking about winning the Heisman before week 0. Luckily, Boston College isn't on Florida State's schedule. That would be a spicy game. Hopefully he can back it up. Stephen McNeely. P.S. As a Knoll, I'd rather have passion than cashin' like last year. Florida State's got to get back to being a confident football team. Greg, have you addressed the Michigan State law blocking Deloitte enforcement? Yes, I have, and I don't think it blocks diddly squat. How about them apples? Why doesn't it stop diddly squat? Because Michigan State, they sign on the dotted line for this settlement, and the settlement has the structure of the Deloitte Clearinghouse. And Michigan State are both going to sign the membership affiliation document. So if the state of Michigan wants to file a lawsuit, go ahead. Stand in line. Stand in the long line. But Michigan State and Michigan are not going to partake in those lawsuits. Michigan is going to submit all their players' NIL deals through Deloitte. So is Michigan State. If they don't, they're in trouble. But they have said that they're going to follow the settlement rules just like everybody else. There are other state laws out there that have said our school doesn't have to follow blah, blah, blah. But those schools have said, yes, for the good of the game, we're going to follow it. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Maurice Simmons, 9-3 or 10-2 for Florida State. Maurice Simmons is feeling confident. Okay, now for the big story of today. For the big one. For the big one. New look Pac-12 announces TV deal with CBS. But who will be its 8th football member? Chris Vanini this morning, The Athletic. And again, there hasn't been anything official yet. Texas State, as far as I know, hold on a second. We got breaking news. It happened. It absolutely happened. Roman Voss has committed to Minnesota, chose the Gophers over Bama. Voss is ranked as the number 1 recruit in Minnesota. Bring on Bama. That's what we say here in Minnesota. Thank God. Thank God you're staying home, young man. Thank God we need all the juice we can to stay home. Under PJ Fleck, the Minnesota Golden Gophers are able to keep their top player once again, keeping them home. Great news for Minnesota. Great news for my beloved Golden Gophers. Woo! That is a sigh of relief. Holy smokes. Bama trying to get in here, trying to get our best athlete out of Minnesota. Shame on you, Bama. Shame on you. Okay. The Pac-12 has moved one step closer to completing its rebuild, announcing Monday that CBS will primarily TV partner for the new media rights deal. So CBS will be the primary TV partner, but again, it's not like they're carrying a lot of games, according to what I have read here. But they're going to be covering the Pac-12 championship conference game. That is one big game they're going to be covering. The news comes as the conference looks to finish its full TV deal and add an 8th football playing member to reach NCAA requirements by next season. The full TV deal is not yet complete, with at least 2 more media partners expected to fill out the plan. Like I said earlier on the live show today, there's no way for any of us to know if this is an $8 million per school, $9 million per school, $10 million per school type of deal. We have no idea. We don't even know the parameters. We don't even know the media partners. We don't know who has what content. We don't know how much production costs that these schools are going to have to pay back to the media partners for some of their content. Like if they have a deal with ESPN, for example. We don't know anything, guys. We literally do not know anything. I haven't spent any time on this Pac-12 media deal because it's all in negotiations. There's no real good information out there. We know CBS is part of it. The CBS will be the anchor partner of a 5-year deal from 26 to 31. The main CBS network will broadcast at least 3 regular season Pac-12 football games. The main CBS network will broadcast at least 3 regular season football games and the conference championship game, along with at least 3 men's basketball games and conference tournament championship game. Those will all be streamed on Paramount Plus. I got Paramount Plus. I got it. Part of being a VIP 247 member, you get Paramount Plus. So I love having that. I got Peacock. I got all the channels. I have to have all the channels here at Peek Around the Corner. It is part of the cost of running a college football YouTube channel. And the football championship game is expected to return to its Friday night slot. Financial details were not disclosed. So the championship game going to return to its traditional Friday night spot when the Pac-12 becomes a conference once again. The new Pac-12 is set to include current members Oregon State, Washington State, along with new members Boise State, Colorado State, Fresno State, San Diego State, Utah State. You gotta be named state to be a member of the Pac-12, basically, as a full-time member. With the TV deal nearing completion, the Pac-12 has been in conversation with schools for the 8th football playing spot. Texas State from the Sun Belt has been the favorite, according to people briefed on the process. But nothing has been finalized. The plan had been to finish the TV deal before expansion, but we're getting close to the July 1st, which is a key date in college sports because the exit fee buyouts to leave a conference in less than a year will increase. For Texas State, the Sun Belt exit fee would jump from $5 million to $10 million. So if you do it before July 1st, your exit fee is going to be $5 million. After, it's going to jump up to $10 million. So time is of importance for the Texas State Bobcats. They want to go to the Pac-12. They would accept the invitation. They have not received the official invitation as of yet. While the American Athletic Conference schools like Memphis, Tulane, and UTSA have been in the conversation, the exorbitant exit fee cost and the valuable ESPN TV deal have kept them with the American. SMU paid an exit fee of more than $25 million to leave the AAC for the ACC on less than 1 year's notice. And any of those schools would likely have to pay something similar. They're not going to do it. The 8 schools on board so far have signed a grant of rights, which goes through 2031, according to membership terms made last year and obtained by the Athletic. Those terms indicate media rights will be shared equally across all full members. That is notable amid speculation around the idea Texas State could be brought in at less than a full share. So, again, it looks like media rights will be shared equally across all full members. So if Texas State comes in, most likely, from what people can gather, they're going to get that full share. Schools will also keep 50% of any earned NCAA basketball tournament units for themselves and share the remaining 50% equally. And finally, in the article, what's next? What's next? Though Texas State is considered the favorite, as we've talked about at Peek Around the Corner, 4 months, we've had nobody else up on that spot. Though Texas State is considered the favorite to fill the last Pac-12 spot, it's not a done deal. Not yet. Some officials in the Pac-12 have wanted to get into Texas, and Texas State would fill that void. The Bobcats are coming off their best two best football season as an FBS program. It's also one of the fastest growing schools in Texas, with more than 40,000 students in San Marcos. 40,000. It's a big school and it's growing. Located between Austin and San Antonio. Texas State also had discussions with the Mountain West last year. Look, we have said this for quite a while. If it's not Texas State, I don't know who it will be. I don't know who it could be. I am not a believer in any of the AAC schools moving towards the Pac-12. I don't believe in Tulane. I don't think Memphis is going to do it. Memphis athletic director just came out in public and said they've had no meaningful conversations with the Big East in a while. Now, maybe that's just cloak and dagger. Maybe the Memphis athletic director is just throwing that up there. But I got a feeling that he's telling the truth. I think Memphis is going to stay in the AAC, and they're going to be waiting for the next wave of disruption to see if that can propel the Memphis Tigers into a Power 4 conference as a backfill in the ACC, as a potential member of the Big 12. We shall see, but I don't think Memphis is going to the Pac-12. I don't think UTS, I don't think any of them are. I think it's Texas State Bobcats. Let me know what you're thinking, but it's not a done deal. It is not a done deal. The architect says UNLV is getting a better deal and more power in the Mountain West. Memphis, Tulane, UTSA, USF are waiting for changes in the ACC. I agree. I agree with Stephen Vitt. Jose, Memphis would rather go to the Big 12. I don't understand why they didn't grab UNLV. I don't understand that either, Bobby. I do not understand that either. Stephen Vitt, it is the right call for the PAC to make. Take Texas State while you can. Stormy Cyclone, tick, tick, tick. Daniel Gorby, really happy for Washington State and Oregon State after what happened to them when the Pac-12 fell apart. It is going to be really important for the Pac-12 to try to become the clear top G6 conference in the country. Because right now, it's between the Pac-12, it's going to be between the Pac-12 and the AAC. Because, you know, the Mountain West, of course, they're losing their top brands. Boise State going to the Pac-12. Even the Sun Belt's going to be losing Texas State. Really, the top two G6 conferences that are most likely going to be battling for that playoff spot. Pac-12, AAC, it's going to be a battle. It's going to be very interesting to watch starting in 2026. Not this year, but next year. Okay, we're going to open up the phone lines. We are going to open up the phone lines. Give me a moment here. Give me a moment. Phone lines are open. You can talk about anything in college football that your heart desires. We did a South Carolina Gamecock spotlight for today. We talked about Thomas Castellanos having a lot of confidence that Florida State can beat Alabama. Bring on Bama. That's what Thomas Castellanos is saying. Let me know. Give us a call. Give us a call. I expect there to be some breaking news this week. Bigger breaking news. But we shall see. It sounds like there is going to be a ceasefire, total ceasefire 6 hours from now between, in the Middle East, between Iran and Israel. That was just announced. We'll see if that holds. Alabama can get 4-star guys anywhere, any place they want to get them. Minnesota, it takes a miracle. So it's good that we won that battle. I think it's become quite clear that that the rev share NIL is helping some program. I mean, like a Minnesota program, we're able to keep the top dudes. We're able to offer them more. We're able to offer them money like we've never been able to do. Because Minnesota there was no McDonald's bags in Minnesota. It's just how it wasn't part of what Minnesota. But now Minnesota can pay guys. So we're winning some of these recruiting battles. Some of them. We're going to lose most. We are going to continue to lose most. Will the Pac-12 rename themselves as the Pac-8? I don't think so. Josh and Ho, I think they're going to be the Pac-12. They've got their logo. This is their logo. This is their actual logo here. I think that branding, that Pac-12 branding, they don't want to have to spend money on a new brand. They're going to go with the Pac-12. Just like the Big Ten, at 18 schools remains the Big Ten. Big 12, for now, is the Big 12. We really don't know how that's going to... Is it ever going to be the Big 12 by all state, or have they chucked that idea away? Are they going to just be known as the Big 12? The Gus bus is going to roll like it's got 2 blown tires. Wow. Nick Kelso, not impressed with what Florida State is trying to do. Adam says Florida State losses to Bama, Miami, Florida, Clemson, North Carolina State, and Virginia Tech. I think the win total is 7.5, right? For Florida State. I think it's like 7.5. The ACC championship odds has Florida State at 12-1. Along with Georgia Tech and North Carolina. Clemson, Miami, Louisville, SMU, top 4. Stanford, Wake Forest at the bottom. Then Boston College, Virginia, Pittsburgh, Cal, Syracuse, North Carolina State. Duke at 33-1. That's pretty good value on Duke. You can get Duke at 33-1. Might be putting a few of your dollars on Duke. Phone lines are open. If anyone wants to give a call, it's the number is 763-260-1333. I'll check if there's any breaking news here. Roman Voss is staying home. That is the big news at Minnesota. It's Alabama, man. It's a tough win. We got it done. We probably offered Roman Voss more rev share money than Alabama did, because Alabama's got to pay all these 4 or 5 stars. They got to promise them the NIL. They got to promise everybody the moon and back. Hopefully Minnesota was able to give Voss some money, promise him some money, keep him at home. And here's Andy Greeter. The U, Minnesota, has kept the top in-state prospect from leaving Minnesota in 3 straight recruiting cycles. Corey Perch, who, has a very good chance of being first-team All-American this year. He was a freshman sensation last year. Emmanuel Carmel from Cooper, my old high school. Cooper. Carmel is going to play some this year. Outside linebacker. He's got a lot of physical talent. It's going to take him a while to. The reports out of spring camp is he kept having to be told, and it's natural, but he had to keep being told where to line up and what coverage is, all that stuff. It's that first spring camp. If you're an early enrollee like Emmanuel Carmo is, you're taking on a lot. But really an athletic freak. And then Roman Voss, who I think is going to play tight end. Now, for you LSU fans in the house, Go Black 45, Ryan Brooks. Cooper's Jackson Howard went to LSU, but transferred to Minnesota. That was the top guy in Minnesota in 23. He is going to be the starting rush end for Minnesota this year. So we're able to keep some dudes in-house. The floor is yours, guys. Give us a call. Give us a call. Hard not to pick Clemson on paper. Schedules dictate everything. Yeah, I think Clemson. I've got Texas over Clemson in the national championship game. But I go back and forth between the two. I go back and forth. And if I had a little bit more confidence in Drew Aller, which I don't, I would have Penn State in the national championship game, but I can't put them there. The way that Kate Klubnik played at the end of the year, and I'm all about Arch Manning. You guys know that. I think Arch Manning is going to lit college football on fire this year. So, yeah, he played he played quarterback, and he played like a safety position. Yeah, because he was the best athlete in the whole state. He played quarterback. But he ain't going to play quarterback in he's not going to play quarterback in college. That is for sure. Not for the Gophers. I think he's going to play tight end. That seems to be now, the second top player in the state of Minnesota is a tight end. And there's a recruiting battle going on between Penn State and Minnesota. And Minnesota is expected to lose that one. Penn State is expected to win that battle. But that's enough talk on Minnesota. Give us a call. Give us a call if you want to give us a call. Talk about anything in college football that your heart desires.
Call from
Jose, fight on.
Jose, fight on. The floor is yours. Thanks for calling, sir.
How's it going today, Gopher Godfather?
I'm doing great. How you doing, sir?
Pretty good, pretty good. It's nice and 100 degrees here in Atlanta right now. So
Woo!
I'm just trying to hoping the AC doesn't freeze over.
Yeah, that's too hot for me.
Yeah, imagine it would get that hot up in Minnesota. I was calling about the college. You know how like they said they were going back to the drawing board on the college playoff format, and back to square one almost.
Yeah.
I was wondering if something like 3-3-3-3-1 plus 3 was something that Petiti would be willing to consider. That way, at least I know you don't get the 4 automatic qualifiers, but at least you get 3 for now. Maybe you can revisit it in 2031. But by going 3-3-3-3, it also doesn't lower the prestige of the Big 12 and the ACC. They can be viewed as equals, which I assume that's what Brett Ormark's concern was with the 4-4-2-2, that they're conceding that they're a lesser league, but with a 3-3-3-3, the Big 12 is satisfied. The media partners for the Big 10 are satisfied. At least they get 3 for now. Maybe they can push for 4 in 2031 or whatever. I see everybody coming out winning except maybe the SEC or ESPN.
Yeah, I don't see the even if Petiti would agree with that, the SEC definitely would not agree with that. They wouldn't agree with the 3-3-3-3 because that's just more spots that they can't get, right?
Yeah.
It's no. I mean, even if Petiti agreed with it, which I don't think he would, the SEC ain't gonna. They're not gonna. They'd rather have the 5+11 over the 4-4-2-2, right? I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know the solution to any of this, though, Jose. I really don't. I don't know what is threading the needle. I don't know where that is.
Yeah.
I don't
I was
think it's
hoping maybe that would
3-3-3 though.
that maybe would get your mark to align with the TD and swing Phillips
Sure.
on over, and now you've got the majority, perhaps.
Yeah. Maybe 3-3-2-2. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking that maybe just, at the very least, it would swing the perception to where, one, the Big 12 isn't conceding, that they're, okay with being viewed as a lesser league, and kind of like everybody's happy. And heck, you still have 3 at large. The SEC could still pull those 3 at large and have 6 teams, every year. Especially if they stay at 8 conference games, all the more, possibility that they could pull those 3 at larges.
Yeah.
So that was just something that crossed my mind, just to appease the Big 12, because I think that would really be, because that was a big concern that everybody was saying. The talk was that's it's ruining college football. It's ruining college football going to the 4-4-2-2.
Yeah.
But the 3-3-3-3 would appease everyone across the board. That's something I had thought about that. And then with as far as I'm looking at the preseason magazine here, it's got the Gophers had the 5th ranked defense last year. Is that right?
They were really good. Yeah. We lost our coordinator to Miami. But we brought up our safety coach, Danny Collins, who's been around for 7 years. He's going to be the new defensive coordinator. So we'll see. We got some dudes again, but we're very thin, extremely thin on the defensive line. So we're in trouble. By middle of the year, we're probably going to be in trouble.
I remember your secondary, though, played lights out. I mean, the wind, when the Trojans went up to Minnesota, the wind didn't help any, and the secondary was just lights out.
Yeah.
And it was a nice back and forth running, just Woody Marks versus Darius Taylor.
Yeah.
Just back and forth. Let's see who could get to 150 yards first.
And
then Lincoln Riley.
Yeah. The Gophers have got, according to PFF and other people that do this type of stuff, they got the 5th or 6th ranked best backfield in the country, because they got AJ Turner along with Darius Taylor. AJ Turner was a phenom at Marshall last year, averaged over 8 yards a carry. So the Gophers are all excited about their backfield. Of course, they got the true freshman quarterback they're excited about. Their secondary, again, Kerry Brown and Coy Perch are going to be at the safety positions again, and that's just dynamic. But there are problems with the linebackers. Probably the worst unit in the Big Ten, the Gophers linebackers.
No, Baranowski looks like he's a returning starter. And I mean, I thought from whenever you were calling Trojans games, that was, String Bean Gentry, you said was probably the worst. 198 pounds soaking wet, and Mason Cobb, corn on the cob, who's undersized and short.
Baranowski is okay. Williams. I'm not there. We'll see. They don't make big plays. They're definitely, and I don't want to rip on any of my beloved Golden Gophers, but if you measure them up against other linebacker units in the Big Ten, they're not. I'm sorry, we do not have a difference maker at that position. Now, at defensive line, we've got some dudes, but we've got no depth. None. And that's going to be a storyline that people are going to be talking about. And everybody that went to the spring practices, the drop-off is incredible from the starters to the backups. It is a large drop-off, and I don't think we can fix. We're not going to be able to, unless these young guys become bigger and stronger overnight, we're not going to be able to fix that. So we've got dudes and we've got gaps, and we'll see how it goes. We can't have injuries. Let's put it that way. Not on the defensive line. We can't have injuries.
Mm-hmm. That's the problem we had last year. We had, a great starting 11, but zero depth, and it showed once we got to the fourth quarter. They were just exhausted or banged up, and we had, this is, a fun fact that hardly anybody knows, that we had a lead at the end of the third quarter to start the fourth in every single game, and then we just ran out of gas at the end. We just didn't have the depth, and that's what ended up costing us.
Yeah, well, and we've talked about this before, but if USC would have just kept running the ball against the Gophers, USC would have won that game. They would have.
Lincoln.
It was 17-10. USC had the ball. They were driving, and they went back to pass, and your guys' right tackle was having a problem that game.
Yeah.
And he got beat, and there was a tip ball, and Gophers picked it off, and Gophers went and scored. And then Gophers kind of took over the rest of the game. But USC had their foot on the Gophers' throat. You just had to keep running that ball because Woody Marks, man, he was, and not just him, Joyner, was it?
Yeah, Quentin Joyner. He fumbled at one point.
Yeah, he fumbled, so that took him out of the game.
Yeah.
But if you would have just, I don't know, it was, if USC and Minnesota would have played 10 times last year, USC would have won 7 or 8. I can fully admit that. But it just didn't go their way because I think Lincoln Riley made a strategic blunder in that game. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know what he was trying to prove. But that's all I had to go for, Gov.
You got it.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Fight on.
Fight
Thank
on.
you.
Fight on unless you're playing my Gophers. Fight on. I don't know what record USC ended up with, but they were, was it 8-5? Was it 8-5? I don't know. 7-6. They were the best 7-6 team in the nation. How about that? USC was the best 7-6 team in the nation. Stephen McNeely. Greg, will the Pac-12 expand beyond 8 football? I don't think so. I mean, they will eventually. They will eventually. I don't think they will now because I can't really come up. I haven't heard anything, number one. Number two, I can't come up with another full member program that would join them at this time. Eventually they will. And maybe it comes sooner rather than later. But right now, I don't think it would be shocking if they announced Texas State and somebody else. It would be shocking to me. It'd be a fascinating story to cover. Stephen McNeely, thank you so much for being a member for 19 months. Holy smokes! You are officially knighted cloak and dagger. Thank you, Stephen, for your generosity. Trent Brown, just join. How much is this media deal paying? I don't know. I went over it earlier. I do not know. 8, 9, 10 million, probably in that range. But I don't think anybody knows, because not all the media partners have officially signed on. They're probably really close. It's going to happen maybe this week. And then it's going to be really hard to figure out how, like, these networks usually don't come. Usually nobody really comes out and officially says, this is how much the deal is worth. And this is how much each school is going to make each year. A lot of it is projections between $8 or $10 million a year. That is my best guess. Thank you so much for the super chat, Trent Brown. Thank you so much for the generosity. I do appreciate it. Stormy Cyclones, big old super chat. Congratulations on Voss. One red shirt year and then off to Ames, Iowa. No. It's going to be a while before we see Roman Voss in playing on Saturdays. You know, he's got his senior year this year, and then I do think he's going to redshirt. I don't think he's going to play as a freshman. We shall see. Now, Coy Perch did and dominated, but I think Voss is going to play tight end. And, you know, you gotta put on a little bit more weight, put a little bit more strength on, and then he's going to be ready for the Cyclones to join that team 2 years from now. No. Okay, thank you so much for the super chat, Stormy Cyclone. I do appreciate it. Alabama will not be looking past Florida State after that. Does anyone know if the PAC will get a playoff spot? Only if their champion is the top-rated G6 champion, they'll get an automatic berth. But that's the way they get in. Or, you know, they can get in a large spot as well. But the Pac-12 is going to be regarded as a G6 conference. Gonna hit 100 tomorrow here in New York City. Holy smokes, Jason Spangler. Tony says I'm more worried about the linebackers, not the line. Yeah. I mean, I'm worried about the linebackers more than the line. But once we get injuries on the line, my worries are going to be all over the place. So I'm a Gopher fan. There's going to be lots to worry about. Lots to worry about. TC is playing with a chip on his shoulder. Look out. Yeah, we went through that article, and he's not just playing with a chip on his shoulder. Now he's got more weight on his shoulder for what he said in that interview. Holy smokes. We went over it. I'll show it again here on the screen. They don't have, he's talking about Alabama. Castellanos, the quarterback, Florida State, they don't have Nick Saban to save them. I just don't see them stopping me. He should have said us, Florida State. And then the ACC, I feel like I tore the ACC up my damn self. Again, it's me. I don't know. Some parts of this article, some parts of this interview has got me a little worried about Mr. Castellanos, the quarterback of Florida State. I like the guy. He had some big moments last year, the year before. I like the guy has confidence. He's got a chip on his shoulder. But in that interview, he buried Boston College a few times. I mean, absolutely buried them, their players, when he didn't have to. And then he's talking about me a couple of times. As a quarterback, you want to talk about us, the offense. I want to say thank you to my O-line and things of that nature. We'll see. Any response coming out of Miami? Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. Waiting to hear from Miami. We'll see what happens. We shall see what happens. Okay, we're going to shut it down. I want to thank everybody for joining us. We've been on the air for almost an hour and a half, hour and 25 minutes. We decided to do this live show Monday, June 23rd, talking about the Pac-12, CBS Sports. That's one media partner. They're looking for a couple others. CBS will cover at least 3 regular season games and basketball games. CBS will be the home for the Pac-12 championship game as they go back in their traditional time slot Friday night. Boise State, Colorado State, Fresno State, Oregon State, San Diego State, Utah State, Washington State, and Gonzaga. And it's not a done deal yet. It's not official yet. Texas State looks to be the favorite to join to become the 8th member, full member of the Pac-12. I want to thank everybody who has joined us today in this live show. I do appreciate it so much. All your support. All of your support. Just taking another look at any possible breaking news before we go off the air. Thank you, Rod Nix. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, Stephen McNeely. Okay, before you leave, if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to the channel. Open up your notifications. Smash the like button if you've liked our content today. I do appreciate it. Keep your head on a swivel. We are the home for college football. We cover everything in college football. We cover the breaking news. So keep your head on a swivel. Make sure you are subscribed so when we come on, you will get notified. Until next time, from all of us at PATC to all of you, please, you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much.